their ruling did not apply to anything other than the unborn. The House and Senate went ahead and passed a bill protecting same-sex marriage anyway. But then new legal fights began over abortion, as a number of states, mostly across the South, had trigger laws that banned or restricted abortion access. Some legal fights are still playing out in places like Georgia and Ohio. President Biden said he would do all in his power to help protect abortion access and said it's an issue to vote on ahead of midterms.
This fall, we must elect more senators and representatives who will codify woman's right to choose in the federal law once again.
He said his administration would ensure that women would be free to travel to another state to get the procedure if abortion was banned where they now live. For more on this story now, we're going to talk with Shannon Bream, the host of Fox News Sunday. Shannon, over the decades, there have been a number of major Supreme Court rulings. Many of us have heard of things like Brown versus Board of Education, Plessy versus Ferguson, the Dred Scott case. How historic is the Dobbs decision that overturned Roe? Is it as big as it feels in the moment?
I think it is, just because think about how for 50 years Roe v. Wade has been at the center of nearly every Supreme Court confirmation and nomination process. Will you touch it? Do you think that there are precedents that can be overturned in Supreme Court's history? And of course the answer to that is yes. And any justice will tell you if they think that the court at some point got it disastrously wrong, and you talk about some of the monumental cases, they leave room for overturning that. And the makeup of the court this year was finally the right makeup to convince those who were, had for decades been trying to set up the right case to get there to take a bite at Roe v. Wade. It worked for the opponents of Roe v. Wade, and I would put it, in the top 10 of important Supreme Court cases.
You tell us a bit about what you remember hearing during oral arguments about things like the 14th Amendment, the idea of privacy, and of course, there were intense discussions in those oral arguments about precedent and undoing that precedent. What stuck out to you when you think about sort of these broad legal concepts?
Well, when you think about the case that was before the court, it was about this Mississippi ban that banned abortions, most of them after 15 weeks. And I think it's easy to kind of forget that's how this came to the court, that question. So I remember sitting through the arguments and thinking, there is going to be enough to uphold that law. There's going to be enough to keep that law on the books. I'm convinced you've got at least 5 to do that. Well, what we were left with is that question, do they then swing for the fences? They don't have to go after Roe. Will there be 5 of them willing to do that? Then we have that leak of the opinion in early May, and it was sort of like all hell broke loose.
Another fucking happened. Damn. The fuck is going on? Damn.
Interest at low interest rate on money, and then put that money to work and make a higher rate of return. Business owners understand this. Now in the next segment, I'm going to talk about how you can do this and become your own banker, so to speak. I've been doing this for years, but this is the miracle of wealth accumulation. You want to compound interest and totally tax-free if you can, instead of tax-deferred. And so the marvels or miracles of wealth accumulation are, number 1, compound interest. Number 2 is favored or tax-free accumulation or compounding. But the third marvel or miracle of wealth accumulation is safe, positive leverage. And that's the ability to own and control assets with very little or none of your money tied up in that asset. And so that's where many times you can own real estate or own a business or own equipment. And even if you were financing or borrowing at 4.5% interest tax deductible, that's a net cost of 3% in a 33% bracket. But maybe you're able to make 9% on your money, and that's compounding. So how much more is 9 than 3? Don't say 6. That's 3 times. That's 300% more. And so I'm going to explain in the next segment how this can help you when you become your own banker, especially for retirement. But I'm out of time in this segment, and if this is resonating with you, I want you to jot down the cities and the dates we're coming to teach free half-day educational events. These are called Retire by Design. We're coming to the greater San Francisco Bay Area. We're going to be teaching these in Morgan Hill, Palo Alto, Walnut Creek, Dublin, and Sacramento. We are going to waive the normal $600 tuition, and you'll receive over 500 pages of curriculum free when you come. We'll be in Morgan Hill at the Coyote Creek Golf Club January 18th. That's a Wednesday in the morning. That afternoon in Palo Alto at the Elks Lodge. The next day we're in Walnut Creek at the Boundary Oak Golf Course. That is January 19th in the morning. That afternoon in Dublin at the Ranch Golf Course. And the next day we're in Sacramento at the Granite Bay Golf Club, January 20th, Friday morning, Sacramento. Call now and register at 1-888-76-RADIO. I want to see you there. 1-888-767-2346. 1-888-767-2346. 1-888-767-2346. This is Three-Dimensional Wealth Radio. Hi, Doug Andrew here. I've been blessed to have many books that I've written become bestsellers, but my most recent book, The Laser Fund, I'm most excited about. I would love for you to have a copy of this book because it teaches how to diversify and create the foundation for a tax-free retirement. I have spent years, in fact, it's over 45 years of experience helping people optimize financial assets, minimize unnecessary tax, and empower their true or authentic wealth. This book is so unique because it's actually two books in one. There's over 200 pages from a left brain approach. If you're the kind of person that loves to learn by reading and getting numbers and charts and graphs, there's over 200 pages of illustrations explaining why the laser fund can be the best solution for all kinds of financial objectives, from college funding to retirement to emergency funds, working capital for business or personal or real estate. And if you're more right-brain person, you aren't really into numbers, you learn by stories, you flip this book over and you read it the other direction. It's over 100 pages that contains like 62 chicken soup for the financial soul stories, actual client examples. We change their names to protect their privacy, but you will learn by reading the stories and examples of how people have empowered themselves financially by using the laser fund. So call now, 1-888-76-RADIO is the number, and you can attend one of our educational events, and I will gift you a copy of the Laser Fund. That's 1-888-767-2346. Please join us and learn. Receive my book. Call 1-888-767-2346. That's 888-767-2346. About public money when you put it in their institution. They pay 1%, that's 10,000 on every million. They turn around and make 5%, which is 50,000, by loaning it back out again or put it into insurance companies. So what I've often taught at my educational events is how you can become your own banker and bypass the middleman. For example, if that's where a bank or credit union is putting their Tier 1 assets for liquidity and safety, and you have money parked in a bank or credit union as an emergency fund, maybe you think that's convenient or it is safe because you can drive up window and get your money. Well, yeah, that's convenience, but that's not really liquidity in this day and age. You can access money sometimes with an electronic funds transfer, a phone call, and so maybe you don't need a drive-up window to have your emergency fund down the street when that bank or credit union is taking your money and putting it into a multi-trillion-dollar insurance company to increase the safety and the rate of return by maybe 4 or 5 times. Just bypass the middleman. If you have 20, 30, 50,000 of money in a bank or credit union that's earmarked for emergencies, put it straight into the insurance company where you're earning a rate of return maybe 4 or 5 times the rate the bank's paying you, and it's actually maybe 5 or 6 times safer in the safety rating. Does that make sense? Well, what is that? This is a max-funded indexed universal life insurance contract where I've averaged 9.62% since 1980. Since 1997 when indexing came out. Indexing is a strategy. I'm not talking about index mutual funds. It's a strategy where you can participate when the market's up. You get to benefit and you can lock in gains of 10, 11, 12, 15, 25%, sometimes even 61.33% or 158%, like from March of 2020 to March of 2021. Now, those great rates of return are few and far between. That's a special type of linking to an index. But on the average, ever since 1997 when indexing came out, I have earned a little over 11%, and I've netted cash on cash over the life of the account. Let's say over 20 or 30 years, I've netted 10. So I earn 11, I net 10, and that 1% is not taxed because these are tax-free. That's the cost of the insurance that the IRS says has to be there in order for it to be tax-free. But see, I'd rather earn 11 and net 10 and sort of have some insurance coming along for the ride than have to earn 15 or 16% in an IRA 401k in the market to net 10 after tax when I start taking out the money. Does that make sense? To earn 15 or 16%, I'd have to be in a pretty risky portfolio. To average that is what I'm talking about. So let's get back to what I was talking about. Why do people that have enough money, okay, I know a lot of people that have very high net worths, and they have all the money they need in order to maybe pay cash for an apartment complex, or maybe for inventory for their business or whatever, but they still finance it, they still borrow for their real estate or for their business. And I had an employee one time who had just previously worked at a bank, and she said that was the biggest surprise because as a bank employee, she was over the high net worth people for a while, and when they would come in to apply for loans, yes, they had excellent credit, but she would look at their financial statements, and the first thing she would go, why are they borrowing money? They have the money. And then she began to ask them and realized, they said, why would we do that? That would cost us more. Because we are earning on our money a compounded rate of return of 9-10% tax-free. Why would we take that money and give up a 9-10% tax-free rate of return when we can borrow money from you with our credit, $1 million at 4.5% interest, tax deductible, a net cost of 3. And so on every $1 million we borrow from you at the bank, net after tax, 30,000, and we continue to earn 9% on our own $1 million that we keep parked over here, liquid and safe. How much more is 9 than 3? That's 3 times. They're making 300% more than the cost of the funds. In fact, many savvy investors, they will borrow at a lower rate to earn a higher rate. I had an acquaintance in Honolulu, Hawaii, and he would borrow money at 4, 5, 6, 7% because he had a group of contractors that would pay 15 to 18 to 21% for construction loans to build properties because it was a win-win. They were okay paying that higher interest, and he was okay because he earned the spread or the arbitrage, the difference between when he would borrow money at 6% tax deductible and it cost of 4, but he would earn 15, 18, 21%, and he made hundreds of thousands of dollars a year doing that, okay? So that is what makes the world go round. And so savvy investors, they learn to use OPM like banks and credit unions do, other people's money, okay? Now, most savvy investors keep their money liquid and safe, earning tax-favored rates of return, averaging, as I said, 8 to 10%, and they borrow money usually at 4 or 5% net, thus making at least 100% more than the cost of the funds. Now, most high net worth individuals that I've met have their homes, their real estate mortgaged to the hilt, and their equity is separated where it's earning 2 to 5 times the net loan cost in what they call their family bank. Now, that's a term that I've used for years, your own family bank, where you can make 100, 200, even 500% rates of return. I remember when interest rates were very low, I was borrowing at 3% at one point, tax deductible, in a 33% bracket, and net cost of 2, and I was earning 10%. 11 netting 10 in my indexed universal life. How much more is 10 than 2? 5 times, 500%. The banks were borrowing people's money and paying 1%, and they were making 5. They were making 500%. I was making 500%, borrowing at a net cost of 2 and earning 10. Now, this is where sometimes people go, huh? Now, I'm out of time in this segment, but you can learn how to do this and become your own banker. And the instrument you want to use to do that is called the laser fund. Liquid Assets Safely Earning Returns is an acronym. It spells Liquid Assets Safely Earning Returns, the first initial. We are teaching 5 educational events in the greater San Francisco Bay Area the 3rd week of January. We're waiving the normal $600 tuition. Get ready to jot down the cities and the dates we're coming. We're coming to Morgan Hill, Palo Alto, Walnut Creek, Dublin, and Sacramento. We'll be in Morgan Hill at the Coyote Creek Golf Club, January 18th. That's Wednesday in the morning. That afternoon in Palo Alto at the Elks Lodge, January 18th afternoon. The next day we're in Walnut Creek at the Boundary Oak Golf Course, January 19th. Thursday morning. That afternoon in Dublin at the Ranch Golf Course. The next day we're in Sacramento at the Granite Bay Golf Club, January 20th, Friday morning, Granite Bay. Call now and register. CDs limited. The number is 1-888-76-RADIO. Call 1-888-767-2346. That's 1-888-767-2346. 1-888-767-2346. 1-888-767-2346. It's three-dimensional.